Welcome to WeTableIt, a space where conversations are dissected to inspire change.
No matter how tough it gets, don't give up. Your story is still unfolding. Time your greatest currency. Spend it on purpose, not just potential. There's power in your peace. Joy is not found, it's created, owned, and released from within. You were never meant to do this alone. Community is strength. Unity builds legacy. Even the longest path begins with a single step. Keep walking, even if no one's clapping yet. These are the moments that matter. Build a life that feels good, not just one that looks good. Wishing changes nothing. Action changes everything. Begin now. This is WeTableIt, where courage, connection, and clarity converge. Join the conversation.
Hi everyone. Good afternoon, good evening from Lagos, Nigeria. You're welcome once again to WeTableIt Bottomless Chatter. I am your host, Eno, and today I'll be having you guys alone. So do something for me before we go on. Kindly share this podcast. We look forward to your engagement and your likes. Your comments, I beg your pardon. I'm excited to be with you today, and today we'll be talking about things that are happening generally. So for those of you who are new on this platform, I want to say you're welcome. Thank you for joining us. You're welcome to this place. Welcome to Engage. We are a platform where we dissect, topics, global topics to inspire change. All right. So my co-host unavoidably could not be on this broadcast. However, I'll be taking charge on their behalf. So thank you once again for joining this broadcast. I will be taking some of the news headline, and after that, we'll just have random conversation. So let us know where you're joining us from. Please leave on the comments where you are, what parts of the world you are at. Just leave a comment and I will say hello to you. All right, our first story today is the Soul Mission. Guys, remember last week myself and Valerie talked about African Americans migrating back to Africa, trying to identify with their roots, and we were asking questions. What is the intention behind the migration? All right, so today we'll be bringing you something relating to that, a soul mission about African Americans relocating to Ghana in search of home, identity, and belonging. Many see Ghana's year of return and ongoing efforts to welcome diaspora Africans as more than tourism. It's an invitation to return. Some arrive to ancestral lands, others to escape social and political unrest abroad. But integration has challenges: culture, property rights, local acceptance, and bureaucratic hurdles. Since, I beg your pardon, still the civil, creative, and entrepreneurial contribution of these residents are reshaping Ghana's narrative. This movement speaks to deeper theme: home, diaspora, legacy, and self-determination. So we got that from Al Jazeera. I'll be wanting to read your comments on what you think about the migration to Ghana and other parts of Africa. We have some of them coming to Nigeria as well. All right, so we'll be watching how Ghana's society evolves with this influx and what lessons we might draw for diaspora relations everywhere. Once again, you're welcome to WeTableIt Live. We are here to dissect society and inspire change. If you're here for the first time, you're welcome. I am Eno, one of the hosts on WeTableIt, and I'm excited to have you here. Once again, thank you for joining us. The second news is about USA revoking Colombian President's visa. So I know for some of us here in Africa, it's going to be a wow. Okay, so let's delve right into it. Next up, diplomatic shockwaves. The United States have officially revoked the visa of Colombia's president, Gustavo Petro. This action follows his participation in a pro-Palestinian rally in New York, where he urged US soldiers to defy orders, a move the US described as reckless. Petro responded defiantly, stating he remains free and undeterred. This is more than visa drama. It signals escalating tensions in US, Latin American relations, relations, especially on issues of foreign policy, protest, and free speech. We'll keep an eye on how Colombia and other nations respond diplomatically. Now, that's our diplomatic headlines for now. We need to know what you think about what's going on in Palestine and in Israel and how the Ukrainian and Russian war is going. We want to see your comments on that. All right, so the next story is about a hack in a nursery in the United Kingdom where it was found out that about 800, beg your pardon, 8,000 children were stolen. So we need to take a look at that. But before I jump into that, I want to get more information about this. Okay, I'll get back on this particular topic because it's important. We've been hearing situations like this, even in Nigeria, where I'm at, where we say children are being stolen from the nursery after they are born, or there's an exchange of students, I beg your pardon, children. We need to know whether these things really play out, whether they're happening, and if they're happening in your areas, please let us know. Um, Let us see whatever it is you have on this topic, where children are being switched in the nursery or being stolen, and then they tell the parents that the kids are dead. We want to hear from you on this topic. So the next one is in crime and justice. All right. So Dubai authorities say they've broken up an international sex trafficking ring and arrested the alleged kingpin behind it. Victims from multiple countries were reportedly lured with promises of legitimate jobs, only to be forced into exploitation. The operation spanned borders, using intermediaries, falsified documents, and covert communication. Dubai's police have pledged full prosecution, and this bust is drawing international attention and cooperation. Now, this is a reminder human trafficking is global. We need vigilance, policy, and global coordination to dismantle it. So I heard that this kingpin is from Kenya. I hope I'm not making a mistake. And he has been pinned down by the police in Dubai. If I'm not mistaken, I think I'm mixing up this information. We have the one of the Kenyan trafficking ring where citizens were forced to fight in Ukraine. So the earlier one I'm talking about, the sex trade thing, I'm not so sure whether it's from Kenya, but we are going to delve into what's going on in Kenya as well. All right, so the kingpin in, Kenya, who's trafficking their citizens in order for them to coordinate, fight, for the Russians is the topic. The story that is about to come up now. So, in a disturbing development in human rights and conflict, Kenyan authorities say they've uncovered a ring, traffickers recruiting Kenyans to serve as fighters in Ukraine. So, vulnerable youths promised work or money were targeted and coerced into travel arrangements with false documentation and false promises. So, some ended up in conflict zones across Eastern Europe. This raises deep alarm. So, recruitment, network, weak migration controls, and the desperation of youth fuels this threat. We must demand better protection, regional cooperation, and accountability. The world needs to stop trafficking people into war. All right, so my personal opinion about this story, where people are being trafficked to Russia, from Africa, to go fight the war in the other place. And it keeps me thinking, why is it that they're coming to Africa to take people? Of course, what happens in war is that most cases we lose life, we lose property, we lose things that matter, relationships and all that, right? So for a war that's happening in Europe, we are getting people from Africa to go fight it. I don't know why we have people amongst us in Africa who, for just some amount of money, they sell their brothers and their sisters to do things that are not all right. Okay, so you are losing strength. I mean, you are losing the strength of your country by sending young men to go out to war. I know it doesn't make sense. Please make it make sense. I don't know what you guys think about it. If there is something you think about it, please want to see that in the comments. Thank you so much. So the next topic, before I go down, I just want to see whoever is watching me today. Thank you once again for joining. I'm taking my time to read comments. If I get comments, definitely I will be. Haha. Blessing at Daily Care, Oladayo. Thank you for joining the live stream. We appreciate you. You've been a very ardent follower on this platform. We appreciate your engagement. You said, unfortunately, you do not have data to join this live stream. Anyway, when you do get your data, you can jump in and watch the replay. All right. So we go on to the next news. U.S. foreign aid cuts threaten malaria eradication work. We all remember that the U.S. has, cut off foreign aids to most countries, and Nigeria is one country that is affected. So I'll go on with the news. In Global Health Today, new developments in U.S. foreign aid are threatening. U.S. foreign aids are threatening decades of progress against malaria. As lawmakers propose cuts to international programs, funding for mosquito nets, indoor spraying, diagnostic tools, and vaccine campaigns are all at risk. This is not just numbers. Millions of lives hang in the balance, especially in sub-Saharan Africa. If funding shrinks, gains could reverse. Diseases long held at bay may resurge. This isn't a partisan debate, it's a human crisis. Now we'll be tracking how global health agencies respond and what governments do next. I'm really concerned about this because in Africa, we've not been able to deal concisely with the issue of malaria, and we've been relying on aids from other countries to help us combat malaria. We are glad to see that there is a reduction in cases of death from malaria. However, we still need to eradicate malaria completely. And now with this cut of foreign aids, I think, this is my personal opinion, that the governments, like my government, Nigeria, should look at, putting up, structures to make sure they get what they need. I think we have the manpower, we have the resources to eradicate mosquitoes for ourselves or eradicate malaria. I remember we talked about Singapore, because malaria definitely caused by mosquito. Singapore has been able to, control mosquito and the spread of dengue fever. Theirs is dengue fever. We here deal with malaria. So, they've been successful. I don't think they've used foreign aids to get that. So if other countries have been able to eradicate these diseases or sickness caused by the mosquitoes, I think African countries should begin to look at, ways they can, from within, stop the spread of malaria and reduce the existence of mosquitoes. What do you think? I need to hear from you guys. All right. So the next story on our list is on the Israel-Palestinian current war. Okay, so now the conflict news. The violence between Israel and Palestine continues with heavy military strikes in Gaza, rocket attacks, and escalating civilian casualties on both sides. Efforts at ceasefires, diplomacy, humanitarian corridors, and United Nations interventions are struggling to keep peace with the chaos on the ground. The war's toll is immense. Displaced populations, infrastructure demolished, and hope shrinking by the day. Our role in coverage is to remind every headline is human lives lost or scarred. We await new proposals for peace backed by global pressure. There's so much going on in the news about the Palestinian and Israel current war. We are hoping that they will be, you know, coming together and doing what is best for all parties involved, both the citizens and everyone that's connected to them. All right. So the next story is the stampede at Vijay rally in Tamil Nadu's Karol, and that is from India. In India, tragedy struck a political rally in Karol, Tamil Nadu, organized by actor turned politician Vijay. During the event, a stampede like situation erupted, causing at least 10 deaths and injuring another 30 others. This is from the Times of India. The crowd surge is under investigation, and reports indicate inadequate crowd control and safety planning. In fluid political climates, rallies are vital, but public safety can never be an afterthought. Our heart go out to the family affected. So we had a situation similarly where there was a stampede not so long ago. I think that was sometime in December, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, where there was a charity event and there was a serious stampede that claimed the lives of, I mean, dozens of children. That was so heartbreaking. Now, this brings the question: how do they, prepare for, concerts, rallies, whatever? Do they put safety protocols in consideration? We do not want to have things like this in our societies. So whenever there are rallies or any public outing, safety protocol must be observed. They need to put in, first aid, whatever, emergency situation, structures in place and all that. We need to avoid deaths that can be avoidable. All right. So we have story from Nigeria. It makes me smile because it's something that's quite amusing. A Nigerian lady proposal of 100 men sex claim rejected by Guinness. So we have this lady in Nigeria who puts up a proposal to the Guinness World Record to have sex with about 100 men in one day. From what we gathered, that proposal was not honored by Guinness World Records. So, yeah, before I go ahead to read this, I'll just give you a tip of what's going on. It wasn't honored, and I think she came up on a social media platform to say that she was going to go ahead with it, whether or not her proposal was honored. So, in the entertainment oddities news, a Nigerian woman proposed to host a Guinness World Record event, claiming she would have sex with 100 men in one day. I don't know how that's going to happen. Excuse me. So Guinness officials swiftly rejected the proposal, citing violations of their policy and moral standard. While the stunt drew attention, it raises deeper questions: spectacle versus integrity. This is one for entertainment headlines, but also ethic conversation. I go back. Are we after spectacle or should we go for integrity? And this is one of the things that is going on social media now. People are so hell bent on getting traffic to their pages that they do not care about moral standards and integrity. All right, so I saw a video of this young lady again. She posted today. Was it today I saw that video where she was apologizing? Uh, why? Because apparently the king in her state in Nigeria saw her proposal to do what she wanted to do, and I think he raised alarm and nudged authorities in the state where she resides to arrest her. So she came up in a video saying she was just joking, that it was a way to get traffic to her page. She wasn't, really going to carry out that, challenge. So yeah, what do you think about this? Is this something to chase clouds with? Is this something to, draw attention to yourself with? We need to know what you think about that. So finally, news for today is trending South African entertainment news. So in South Africa's entertainment sector, rising star Amarai is expanding her influence in Afropop, blending Ghanaian, US, and R&B sounds to captivate audiences across continents. Her innovation, creative control, and refusal to conform to commercial pressures are reshaping how African music is made and consumed. Watch out! New releases from her are among the most anticipated this season. All right, guys. Thank you for joining me today. It's been a pleasure hosting you. I just wanted to read some of the news that we have today trending, I mean, globally. I'll do a quick recap on the news. You're watching me from WeTableIt, and I'm doing a quick recap. The 10, topics we've covered today, trending topics today. We have the sole mission where African Americans migrate to Ghana. So we are hoping to see more how this develops. We'll be giving you updates on, how the Ghana society is evolving with this influx of Americans, I mean, Black Americans coming into their community and what lessons we might draw from, for diaspora relationships everywhere. So the second was USA revoking Colombia president's visa because of his involvement in the Palestinian and Israel war. Uh, yeah, he was not deterred by whatever happened, and he's owning his, you know, whatever his opinion is about the war. Uh, like we said, it brings to mind how our governments in Africa were going to react if they had, this kind of reactions against them from the United States. I mean, with booking visas and all that. This is not what I see them, wanting to take. They will definitely do everything to butter up the United States to remain in good, relationship with them. Now, the third one is about children that has been stolen in the nursery in UK. There was a hack into the data system and information about how the children of people were stolen in hospitals. We have this all over the world as well. And that brings to mind what happens. How do we protect our children from this kind of situation? At the end of the day, if they are not stolen, they are being switched, and you get to live with people who are not really your kids. The fourth story is about Dubai sex trade ring boss arrested. Um, this is not new. We have people, trafficking girls from all over Africa to Western places or places where they think or they deceive them, telling them they'll get jobs. But when they go there, they exploit them for sex slavery. The fifth, Kenya trafficking ring, citizens forced to fight in Ukraine. I think I just broke that down a bit. We have a ring that's, uh, giving travel documents to the citizens of Kenya and trafficking them to Ukraine to fight for Russia against Ukraine. So I don't know what you think about this. It doesn't sit down well with me, and I think it shouldn't sit down well with anyone. I want to see your comments on this. The U.S. foreign aid cuts threaten malaria eradication. It's the sixth. Yeah, we all are aware of the fact that the United States has cut off, aids to foreign countries, and it's affecting a lot of, work that's been ongoing before that cut. And one of those works that's been affected is malaria eradication in Africa, in Nigeria as well. So that brings us to this question: what is our government in Nigeria doing to make sure that they can, cushion the effect of this AIDS cuts? What are they doing? And another question is, why can't we, take charge of this, this responsibility of eradicating malaria for ourselves? We've had countries like Singapore take care of, dengue fever. I mean, they did that. Why can't we do that? Given the resources we have and the people we have as well. So we talked about the Israel-Palestine war, where it is at the moment, and we are hopeful for a peaceful resolution in no distant time. We are hoping that all stakeholders, everyone who is involved in making decisions concerning this war, we see that they will see we are losing people, losing lives, and we think it's high time that all this comes to an end. Then we talked about the stampede at Vijay rally in Tamil Nadu's Karor in India, where there was a stampede in a rally, political rally, and 10 lives were lost, while we had 30 others injured, posing a question as to how much uh, structure has been put in place in events like this to protect lives and property, So we need to do better in our places, not just in India where it happened. It happened in Nigeria as well, I said, in December, where there was a charity event and children's lives, I mean, dozens of children's lives were lost in a stampede. Um, we need to do better in the protection of lives in public events. Um, Nigerian lady, that is the ninth story we talked about, who proposed the 100 men sex claim and was rejected by Guinness World Record. So we want to see what you think about that. She claims to be able to have sex with 100 people in a day, but it was turned down because of moral standards and ethical concerns as well. What do you think about that? We want to see your comments. Thank you for joining us. Then the final story is the trending entertainment news in South Africa, where the rising star Amari is expanding her influence in Afropop, blending Ghanaian, US, and R&B sounds to captivate audiences. All right. So thank you once again for joining us. I think I spent about half an hour with us today. I'm excited and I'm glad to have you. For those of you who have watched me today, thank you for watching. Thank you for engaging. Thank you for sharing. It means the world to us. So until next week, same time, not same time, on Saturday next week, it's going to be our normal time because we had so much to do today. That's why we came in a bit later, but we'll go back to the normal time. We'll come, hopefully, we'll be having the doctor on the broadcast next week, and we'll be talking about more trending stories all over the world. From now, for me, it's not a goodbye. I'll be giving you guys updates on all the stories through, posts throughout the week. So you guys have to look out for these posts. I'll be updating you guys on all the stories, the trending stories, and how they're developing. All right. Thank you for watching once again. It's me, Eno, all the way from Lagos, Nigeria. Have the blessed best of the week that's coming on, and bye bye for now.